And when they fought over the boys, they really was fighting for the death. Like, she wrote in her journal, like, I wanted to kill my sister.
Yes. And she said, I think she wanted to kill me too. But it doesn't show that Jennifer tried to do it back. June tried to do it. Yes.
And it did say some of the testing that they went to. Jennifer was kind of like really young, not younger, but more, what I say, less aggressive than June was.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And she wasn't as smart as June was.
Yeah.
So. But yeah,
even with
the trying to strangle her with it. What was that?
I think it was the radio cord.
Yes. Yeah. And then they fought in the river and was trying to drown each other
in the river. Yes.
But even after they got so after they did all that with the boys eventually had to move away.
Yeah.
And then it was
they said it was heartbroken and everything.
To where they couldn't find them, so they broke into the boys' house and found the card where it say they had to leave and go back, at a certain date. Yeah. And she was like, that's when everything stopped for them.
Yeah.
She was like, they was just done.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I know, at that point, I know so many women, and including me. I was there at one time in my life. Well, if he broke up with me, I was just like, okay, I'm just done. Like, I'm not dating no more. I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to hear nobody, for a while until somebody else touched my heart. But after that, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I can understand them, but they took it a little bit further. And I think that's what mental illness is.
Yeah.
When you really can't cope with some things and you just take it a little bit further than what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Even if it's just not with a boy, it could be just, getting fired from a job or something. Some people come back and want to blow up the place, or they threaten the boss or do things like that. It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's just different things hit people differently.
Right.
So it can be hard to cope with something.
Yes.
Like it's being what is it called? What is the word I'm looking for? Like, not the no, but like the negative towards you.
Oh yeah,
like, it just hits you different.
Yeah, it does.
So they picked up and did the same thing that the boys was doing and was writing down.
Yes, they were.
And then so intelligent to, like the firefighters was leaving out to go see who did this arsonist.
Yeah.
And they wrote so smart, just so intelligent.
They really did.
And I was just thinking, am I going to spend the rest of my life in jail?
Yes.
I was like,
even one of them was like, and I was watching them and they were so ludicrous. I'm like,
yes.
How you spell ludicrous?
Yes.
Like, at that age you're using these words. Like
why they couldn't see how smart they was with writing? They just couldn't speak it, but they wrote down all their emotions, all their feelings, and knew everything. Even after they went to jail, and she said about her mom. She was like, her mom, was just this sweet-hearted woman, and she was she birthed these twins who brought her heartache. And the Lord is gonna fix it. The Lord is gonna. I mean, they were so smart. It's like if they just read what they wrote, y'all wouldn't have did so much to them.
Yes. That's what I couldn't understand too. So to catch you up, what happened was when the boys left, they were so hurt, and so June, I think it was June, decided to get her anger out. She was going to burn down the town that they were in.
Yeah.
So I think it was like up to 8 buildings that they actually burnt down. Like they was really arsonists.
Yeah.
They had turned that way.
Yeah.
And
they 18 made the newspaper.
Yes. Got arrested, and when they got arrested, they wouldn't talk. They wouldn't speak. That's what made me. I was like, dang, okay, now it ain't no game. Y'all have to stop this game and start talking to people. Tell them how you feel.
Yes.
So because of that, not being able to communicate with the judges or the lawyers, they automatically assumed that they needed to be put in a sane assignment. So they were put in a mental hospital, and they were actually supposed to be there for 14 years.
Yeah.
But I was smart.
Like, I gotta read the story on it, because she said while they was sitting in jail, she was like, she pictured that the mental hospital was gonna be white ladies in gowns, and she was gonna sit out and be a mature lady sipping lemonade. I was like, they were so smart.
Yeah.
But that is not the mental hospital that they went to. I thought they was gonna go to somewhere nice too, like they were putting cups and stuff like that. No, that's not how they did it. Like they really made them worse before they got better.
Yeah. And that's like here, like you see some of the mental institutes, and they be like, okay, you come there and do your little counseling and everything, and then there's some that if you're punished there through the state is way totally different.
Yes.
Like you don't get that niceness.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they were, you know, that was the one who they what it's at.
Right.
And I found so amazing that they said that they remained. It was called Broadmoor, and they remained there for 11 years.
Yeah.
But June blamed this lengthy sentence on their selective muteness. So the reason why they got so many years is because they wouldn't talk.
Right.
And anybody else do that crime, they wouldn't get that many years.
Right. Right.
But you have to be sentenced to so many years back then to get into the hospital. And so that's why they give them so many years.
So they started talking more when they started getting tranquilizers.
Right.
She said when they got tranquilizers, I think every day or something like that, or every week or something.
Yeah, every week.
She said then they really started talking, and she said they forgot about. It's basically like they knew what they was doing, but the tranquilizers had them. She said I just didn't have that numbness no more, and that they was just talking. Yeah. So she felt like, okay, now we talking. Yeah. Why we not getting out? And I was like about to cry when I was reading it. I was like, for real, let them out. They talking now.
They talking now. They're doing better now, right? So I really don't think they should have got that many years. And then something else came to play when I was reading about the story. How one day, a whole physical day, one of them, even though they had, because they would put them together one time, they'll fight, and then they'll separate them, and then they want to be back together, then they put them back together and stuff like that. So, but one particular time they were separated, and on one full day, each one would take turns actually moving, talking, speaking, and to where not using the bathroom, not doing anything, just sitting and standing in one spot.
Yeah.
And
they didn't know, did it?
They didn't even know because they were separated. So like one would eat and one would do everything one day, then the next day that one would shut down and the other one eat and do everything that one day. And to one of the nurses said she came in there and she was just standing there. And she must have been crying, had slob and stuff all hanging. It was just,
she said she couldn't move and stuff. Yeah, just wouldn't do nothing.
I was like, that
stuff wouldn't get up, wouldn't move.
So I know
that was like a spirit. Yeah, that's kind of when I said it had me scared. It was just kind of like, man, it was just so much going on.
Yes, it was. It was.
That was a little deep. That part was deep.
Yeah,
that they couldn't do together.
Right,
so they were separate.
Right,
so that had to be their spirits.
Yes,
that goes until when Jennifer passed away.
Right. Yeah.
Because they was in there for 21 years when they end up getting released. Before they turned 30, right?
Yeah, it was before they turned 30, like 28, 29. Maybe, I think it was the 29.
Because I think like they went one more place after the Brunswick. They went one more place after that.
Right.
Because she was about 21. Yeah. They went in like 18, 19. And they did 11 years. So that would have put them at like 22. But she didn't get released to almost 30. Right,
yeah. And was 29. Yeah, because Jennifer was 29. Okay. And because she died March 1993. So yeah, they went one more place in between there.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it was a minimum facility. Like one of them was maximum, then the other one was minimum after they got to so many years, I think it was. And then when they was on their way to, I think, the second place or the third place.
To the third place.
To the third place.
Because they went to jail and then the mental hospital. And then they went to the minimum sentence.
Okay, yeah. And they were actually in the bus. Like in a van riding to the next place.
Right.
And Jennifer laid on June.
Yeah.
And then that's when she was like, we made up.
Do you remember that Jennifer told her probably like 6 years before that she was going to die before her?
Right. And that
she said that.
Yeah, she did.
Man, them girls was more connected than they think.
They were.
She told her that she was going to die first.
Yes. And then
she said, I just hope that you're okay.
Okay with it. And that I'm going to let you go ahead and live the whole life. Because she said she felt like each one of them had half lives. Like together they were whole. Right. But separated, each one was dealing with each different things. But it was like they had a separate, they was living the same life. But it wasn't good until they was whole together. So she felt like if her spirit wasn't there anymore, then she would be whole to be able to go and live her life.
And you would speak and everything.
Yes. And what got me was when they say they examined Jennifer's body and found out she had no cause of death.
Yeah.
Like she just laid there and physically and mentally willed herself to die.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, and you know that probably would have scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
But when she was writing to her mom about the Lord and stuff like that, I was like, okay, so now because nobody spiritually wasn't there to get their spirits right, that enemy swooped right in.
Right.
And he was controlling over them.
Right.
Because they would have fits at times and the nurses couldn't handle them, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And at other times they just be still, you know.
I wish they would have showed in their argument. They never showed an argument. Like
no, they
went
just
in it.
Right, yeah, they just told them about it, said about it, you know, and showed the cell that they shared at one time and stuff like that. But you know, I love my sissy. I do. But we are not twins, but sometimes when she's down, I can feel that she's down and stuff like that, but you know, I don't know if that's the spiritual part about us or what, but I just know that these girls really had a mental issue, had to be hereditary. I don't know whether skip generations or you know what, because we get bullied sometimes all the time, and we have to, you know, set ourselves aside being who we are spiritually from the world. We do.
Yeah.
But to not completely live in the world and just like, I'm not gonna talk to nobody, I'm not gonna do this and that, you know, and then your sister be in agreement of it. Yeah. You know, and then it go further than that. Yeah. It had to be some kind of illness there, you know, for what they was going through. But baby, you get up, can you have that drink?
And I do know that
thank you so much.
It might not be as deep as how these twins went
through.
Come
this way. You can't be seen over here.
All to be in the forefront.
Okay.
But to step away from that story, just to compare that when you're in a relationship, sometimes when you're in a friendship or your relationship with a man, it's almost the same. And you got to know that you got to have, you know, your mental and your health right for you.
That's right.
Y'all might be good together because when y'all together, you just feel so good, and then y'all separated and you just feel so down without that man. But at the end of the day, you're going to get over it and y'all going to live, you know, because it can be the same. You know, sometimes it's so, just how they was just twins, but sometimes I have been connected to a man that your soul is so connected that, I mean, it's like y'all don't talk, and then as soon as he calls or he texts, it's like your whole day done turned around. You can cook, you can clean, you up, cleaning the house, because you know he finna come through.
Yes.
But ultimately, y'all fall out, and it's like your whole world fall apart, and that thing is dangerous.
It does.
It's so dangerous.
That is so true. And I think that's the cause of a lot of you know, suicide murders that we have up on these young men and young women. Yeah. Like they just can't take it. Yeah. And they don't realize there's a syndrome there. There's something going on.
It really is.
You know that you one of my grandbabies have what you call anxiety about separation from her mom. I mean, she could be running in the store and coming back. She's kicking and screaming and hollering, and she's not even a baby. You know, and so I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're going to be all right, your mom coming right back. Yeah. But in her mind, she gone forever. Yeah. And she truly